You're listening to the Bathtub Refinishing Podcast. Powered by BathTubGuys Refinishing. We discuss the refinishing industry, interview owners and operators, and give tips to business owners and entrepreneurs. Now, here's your host, Daniel Montalvo.
All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast. It's been a little bit, been a couple, been a week and a half or so since I last uploaded, maybe two. My long cable. Guys, first and foremost, if you're watching on video, check out the new shirts with the new logo. I love it. Looks good. Shout out again to Aaron and Emma over at Refinish Bath Solutions who helped redesign the new logo. All right, guys, let me get into position here for the Yap session. So, what's new? Well, yeah, that's new. No, I'm just. But I hope everyone's doing well, man. It's been a little bit since I've been on here. So over the last couple weeks, we have been training new locations. So I'm going to touch a little bit on that. If that's the part of this entire thing that you don't want to hear about, skip to later, where I'll talk about some different things. But start first and foremost with our new partner in South Carolina, Diane. Unfortunately, she is Brazilian and she didn't really feel comfortable doing a long form kind of podcast interview. She did say that she's going to be practicing a lot more because obviously she's going to be selling service as BathTubGuys in South Carolina and she has to practice her English. And she says that once she feels a little more comfortable, that she will definitely be open to it. But you guys can see, on our social media that she went through the training, her and her husband actually. It was a very, very cool experience. Really, really good people. I'm excited to get to work with them. And they are going to be serving the Columbia, South Carolina area. They do intend on serving statewide and eventually even moving over to North Carolina. But for now, we're going to start with the Columbia metropolitan area, which has a decent amount of people. Aside from that, though, we have some other trainings lined up that are coming very soon. Hopefully we get podcasts with those guests. I know you guys took a look at the one from Atlanta. So we just added them last month. And so this month we have South Carolina and Massachusetts being added. And then we have Sarasota lined up and a couple others that will be announced soon. But I'm very excited about how everything is going, guys. With BathTubGuys licensing, again, if you guys don't know, you can license the BathTubGuys name. With it, you get a bunch of other benefits. You get a week training here with me. I'll train you everything there is to do, or there is to know about being a BathTubGuys location. You can go take that into your own business, and I teach you like a lot. There's a whole playbook that comes with it, and a bunch of strategies that we go over in person, real, role playing a customer and a customer and customer and business owner like interaction, flashcards, the whole nine. I'm trying to make it as thorough as possible for you guys so that you guys can get the most out of this program because it is designed to help you and help you grow in your business. And so I'm excited. We added South Carolina. That is the big number one. Diane was awesome. She was actually so good at the stuff with admin work that we ended up like finishing a day and a half early. So, but it's okay. It worked out. And because it's going to be a husband and wife situation and there's two of them, she's going to be handling primarily the office work and the husband's going to be handling primarily the field work at the beginning. So we were able to kind of condense it into a 2-week training, but all at the same time. She got a week in the office. He got a week out in the field. But for those of you out there who are going to be doing everything yourself in the beginning, it's 1 week office, 1 week field training. And it is, I've been asked this a bunch of times, how many students are in the class, or it's just you. This is something that we really try and make it like as intimate as possible. I want you to get the most out of this if you put your hard-earned money towards it and you're looking to build a business. I don't think it's doing you any favors to throw you in a classroom with 10 or 20 other people. I think it's kind of besides the point. If you're here to actually train, it needs to be one-on-one. You need to be able to ask questions. You need to get a lot of hands-on. And also, there's no stage fright. If it's just me and you, You don't have to feel nervous about asking a question that you think might be dumb or redundant, or going over something that you don't understand a bunch of times just to keep the class going. Those are things that I wanted to avoid. So we do these, they're one-on-one, and that's the way that I'm going to keep them. So it's one-on-one, guys. Very intimate, the way you get the most out of the program. But they finished early, but they finished good, and we did a whole thing. We sent them home with a gift basket. Um, we put together flashcards while we were training, because she has like no background in this side of the service world. She used to run a cleaning company, and then she also ran a different business in Brazil, that I believe is like selling goods, like actual, physical goods, not service. So going over like how to, deal with certain objections, stuff like that. I made her like kind of templates that she can follow. It's optional, obviously, but it's one of those tools that helps, and it's part of the program, and you will get it all too, as we grow. So that's the first thing I want to get out of the way. Shout out to Diane over there. She's going to kill it. And her husband, Adamario, super, super cool people. They actually crushed it too. Adamario, I had him a day do a tub here, my demo tub that I show customers. And I was looking for, when it's people who are new, I always try to look at like, how intentional, like, do we have to be on training, or do we have to train them how to turn their brain on? Right. So that tub in there, I had it redone recently, and there was a run on it somewhere that's super not noticeable, but if you're a tech, you should notice it. And again, this is this guy's first time doing like bathtub refinishing work, and he found the area without me even having to tell him. That was cool, because that to me says, well, number one, he was paying attention on the field when I had him out there with my technician. But the other thing is, like, common sense isn't lost on him, right? He knows what we're doing. He understands the context of the type of business we're doing, and those little details matter on the bathtub. So he found that without me even telling him anything, and smoothed it out, switched a grid of sandpaper to make sure he can smooth it out. Just little things like that show me this is competent. This is a competent person. Like, that was an incompetent sentence I was about to say about competency. But yeah, he was very competent. He was paying attention, and it was very intentional. So that let me know he was paying attention. And also, he showed me his like phone gallery of like him taking pictures of our tech Santiago, who does the training. Shout out Santiago, but showing like the breakdown of like the different things he caught. Like, and it was just pictures of things like the way he holds the roller, the way he's going up and down, and when he's priming, like little things that a normal person would just be like, oh, he's just rolling it on. Like, but someone who is there to learn with the intentions of learning, he is catching those little things and taking note, and not just a mental note, taking pictures so he can see this is how he's gripping it. This is how he's holding it. When the finesse is needed, this is how he's, managing. He had video clips. He was just really studying and really being a student. And I think that is the most important thing with this kind of application. So, like, to segue into something else, I have been kind of hearing through the grapevine, and it's a little silly to even address it. I'm not going to address this in any way that's negative, because I don't think, number one, none of it has been hostile, and the other part is, like, I don't think social media is really the place to have this. I believe these gentlemen, check in frequently on the podcast. I'm not going to name any names, but we had a couple people out in the Southern California area that were having some issues with coatings. Keep in mind, we don't even really sell to people anymore. And the gap in between ordering for for a couple of these guys was like, from like July to now, like, it was a big gap. But one variable holds true, especially, is that none of them actually got real training. Okay. And part of that is, and, in both ways, I, told them, this is like, we were kind of guiding people through application of this product in the very beginning through like video call to try to make it as convenient as possible. Problem with that is that without getting real hands-on, you can't really tell if you have a spray background, if you're applying it right, especially if you only have a spray background. And so there's a couple instances where they had some issues, and we made the situation right, sent replacement kits and all of that. But I did tell them, like, look, honestly, barring like coming over here, I wouldn't even dabble with it. Like, it is a lot more involved than we initially thought as far as the application. To apply this stuff the right way, you actually have to be taught it. And it's so funny because even Patrick, who came over here, we talked about it briefly on the last podcast me and Patrick had when he was here in Orlando. But even he was surprised because I was telling him, like, look, I don't check in on every job because I physically can't. I have a guy who really is getting the best results, and he is showing all my guys how to get the best results. And then Patrick's like, cool, well, I'll come down and I'll film him and I'll use some of the video for like DIY stuff. And then when he set up the camera and saw how Santiago was applying the coatings, he was like, yeah, I can't use any of this. Like, this is too advanced and too meticulous of a process to actually have a person who's doing it themselves recreate it. And it's funny, we laughed about it, but it's like, no, there is like a super, super big difference between number one, the finish, and number two, the expectation of durability when you actually are very intentional and very procedural, whatever the word is, about how you break down applying this product in particular. And it surprised us. But this ties in back to the conversation I was just having with myself, funny enough, because I'm talking to myself, but with you guys here on the podcast, right? About in the beginning, we were kind of telling people just throw it on their like wall paint. And while that does work, it does work. It works because they sell a bunch of DIY kits, right? Number one, the result as far as aesthetics is a little bit less pleasing than the way we get it now. We get it like, I mean, I would say compared to a spray finish, it's like 90% there. And if you realistically, my dude Santiago gets it like 98, but with most people, it's like so close. You would have to get like foolishly close to it to see anything wrong with it. But the other side of the whole thing is, like I say, like with our service now, we buff and polish. And if that's the case, you can get it to be glass. We are working on a Tubcast 2.0 to kind of push the limits and see how glassy we can get it. And some of you out there have seen the little sneak peek. I haven't sent it to everybody, but that is something that we're working on, soon. But with this, we learned that there's a bigger skill gap. And so in the beginning, we told a lot of guys who were buying coatings who didn't want to come or couldn't come to a physical training in person, just apply it like this and just kind of like a basic outline. And for a lot of them, because it looked nice, like that was kind of good enough. And like, okay, well, this is super easy. Let me go ahead and just start doing it. And what we found was some of these issues with failures that they were having look to be mill build problems, so not enough coating on there. Some of the other stuff that has to do with preparation. I mean, one of the guys told me he had his guys doing it. One of the other guys told me that he had his son doing some of them and some of them him. So there is like I would say a little bit of a variation in exactly what kind of issues they're having. But I kept hearing the word delamination, and we did come to a couple conclusions. Number one, and I did this internal testing all like literally this week because I was like, this is crazy. I'm not having the issues. Our locations aren't having this issue. What is the variable? And the variable really is that every location is getting trained by the same guy. That's really, and we don't have issues. And those guys didn't get hands-on training, the ones who are having issues. Now, with the exception of also, there's one that didn't get training who's also having really good results. And it's, when Alliance Bath, my boy Danny Garcia's company, when they do tenant occupieds, they use this product. So for the no VOC and no smell implications of it. But I will say like Richard, who is their trainer over there, like tested it out a bunch in his shop in a controlled environment, called with questions, got answers, went and tweaked, did it again. And then he's the one showing everybody. A lot of people didn't necessarily handle it that way. They saw, okay, cool, I got a cool result with it. Hope it holds up, but I'm going to go ahead and like light it all on fire and start doing roll on it. We found that because they didn't get real hands-on, they weren't getting the ideal result, especially with the durability, which is like the main freaking draw of this stuff. So I did talk to them. We talked everything out, and so one of them got replacement kits. The other one said that he's going to try to reach out so that we can coordinate some video call stuff with my tech. And I told him that's fine, but I did urge both of them, if you want to step back into this world, the real ideal thing is for you to come out and train. And it's a little bit it's a little silly because, it is easier, but it's easier in a very specific way. And I'm trying to explain that to people now. It's like, yeah, it's easier because you're rolling it on, but it's not like rolling on wall paint to do it professionally. It is a lot more meticulous and more involved. And so you really have to see how a guy who's mastered it is doing it so that you can recreate it. From the way he rolls it to make sure that he's getting even coverage and even mill build on both the primer and the top coat, to using the finesse and using the roller to your advantage to get it to gloss out and smooth out and be glass like. Um, it's something, like I said, that took a lot longer than we anticipated, but that happened, and I wanted to address that on here. For the guys who reached out, like, I know there was a delay within reaching out. One of the other things that I found was kind of silly too is like, one of them claimed he had issues like over 30 items, but like over like the last 6 months, and just never called about it until like a month ago. Um, I'm filming this in February, by the way. So ever since like July, I believe, is when he started like dabbling with it. And he said he was having all these issues, but he ordered paint again like in December. So it's like, if you're having that many issues, why are you? I don't know. And then one of the other guys, it was a little similar, but one of the other things too that we found is that some of these guys were using bonding agents. And while it might not always hurt the situation, it's not a necessary step, and it's not one that we tell people to use. For the simple fact that it can hurt adhesion if you use a bonding agent incorrectly. And some of these guys were having techs or people that work within the company going and doing it unsupervised. And if you do that, it could be an issue if they go too fast with the bonding agent putting on the primer, because the primer is waterborne, guys. It's waterborne epoxy. So like, the primer needs to be dry, or needs to be applied on a dry surface, as dry as possible. And so, if it's tacky or if it's too wet, there's issues that can come of that too. So those are just things to keep in mind, but I wanted to address that. But like I said, our locations here, I mean, we have locations in a bunch of different places now. I honestly forget, because I'm just so hyper fixated on like going to the next one and then keeping up with everybody on our meetings that we hold once a week for our locations. But um, like, they don't really have these issues. And so um, my biggest thing is, how can I make sure that this isn't, like a normal thing? I did some internal testing. The testing was fine. I told these guys to do some testing too if they're having issues, but I did tell them, like, bar and none, you really want to come out and practice on it in person, at least like 1 or 2 days, right? Like, get real hands on with somebody who does it every day, who gets paid from a customer every day. And I think you'll be happy once you see that. But on the other side of this too is like, I'm just addressing it just because I do know that there is like a small little sliver of a community that is on Facebook groups that should not be named, who just talk about me endlessly. Um, and just like every now and then another like haterade freaking show comes on, and they all just talking bad about what I do and whatever. So like, in case you come across that and you've heard of things, it's like, that's actually what happened. But I'm not in those groups because I defend myself and they don't like that. So yeah. Anyway, that's what happened there. And yeah, our locations, we have all these locations in different places. Every single one has 5 stars. Orlando has 4.9, but we have like 300 reviews, and like all of our bad reviews were when we use urethane. So go figure. And they're not even about the quality of the finish, by the way. And most of them, one of them I think might have been, but that's beside the point. I'm getting sidetracked here, but that being said, like, those things did happen. But as we continue on forward, like, I just want to talk about what I'm excited about, man, because like, everything's starting to kind of start to like boil. You know what I mean? We're getting all these new things cooking, man, and I feel really excited about where the company's heading, and the just like the implication of all the things we're doing to help people. We're really like, I don't want to sound cheesy or freaking like, I don't want to sound like a goober, right? But like, we really are changing people's lives. One of the gentlemen who's coming soon is like, this is a big deal for him. I think just based off talking to him, he just seemed really excited, really like this is going to be a big deal. And he's making under $30 an hour at a trade. And, like, an opportunity like this is like, you will double like your money, like earnings. I would find it like incomprehensible that he doesn't. The people that we had here just now, you know what I mean? They've been her husband, Diane's husband, was a mechanic, or is a mechanic, and he's had a very very hard time finding skilled labor that sticks around. And it's a parallel that's directly, I think, hits home with the bathtub refinishing industry in particular, where um, skilled laborers are hard to find, and when you do find them, they have to not dream about having their own, right? Because if they do, then they'll just leave you. And then it's a revolving door of talent, or you are micromanaging them to death. And that's why no one has scaled anything. It's also why it's very hard to scale, uh, mechanic work. And in the past, you could put like non-competes and things that will keep people around longer, but all that stuff has kind of gone by the wayside in a lot of states. And so um, he was saying that like I have to have my hand in everything, and I'm just like done with it. The guy from South Carolina, and he wants something that he can eventually walk away from because he's getting up there in age, and also he just wants to enjoy his life more. And like I can't blame anybody for that, right? Um, and so I think this is like a very very good opportunity for people like that who, you know, like, and I made a video about this, but like this opportunity isn't for somebody who is already making 400 grand a year and wants to make five. Like that's not like, yeah, cool. If you really want to be part of the thing, I will gladly help you. But this is more for the person who needs another shot. This is the person who needs like a opportunity to go from a worker bee to a business owner who wants to do it, just wants to be part of something bigger, that has tools at their disposal, a brand backing them up, things like that that really help propel you forward. But this is not like, number one, it's not a get rich quick thing. It's not like a thing where like you could just like throw your money here, and if you don't care about it, it'll make you rich. That's not how this works. You have to put the work in, and you really need to train on both. Like I know I talk a lot about the field stuff, but like the office stuff is like arguably more important. And I don't care what anybody says. I know a lot of refinisher types watch this stuff, but like if the phone's ringing, it doesn't matter how nice or how good of a fucking job you do on the tub. It's irrelevant if the phone doesn't ring. It literally is irrelevant. And like, sue me, go off in the comments if you disagree. You're just wrong, buddy. You're just wrong. The reason why any company is worth anything is because they have customers. If you don't have customers, you ain't got a company, bro. So the office and the admin stuff in sales is like 1,000 times more fucking important than what you think is important. If you're one of those people, both things are important, but they're not equal, and it's not even close. They're not equal, and it's not even close. Don't care if you get mad. Um, but anyway, um, I will say, and then just one last thing on that. That is why there are companies who suck, but also just stick around because, like, I'm not saying I am one of those, but what I am saying is, like, that's why. Like, a company can suck, but if they're good at getting sales, it's almost irrelevant. They can make a ton of money. And making a ton of money isn't so the CEO sits somewhere and smokes a cigar in a back room. It's so that people like, can feed their families. But that's beside the point. I want to help people the most that I can. And I feel like this is an opportunity to help people who want to be helped and who need to be helped. And it's not for somebody who already has a well-established business that's killing it. Because if that's the case, just keep crushing it. Now, could you crush it more under Bathtub Guys? Potentially. But it's more about opening doors for people who haven't had a door open. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm interested in, is mentoring people to like like build their own thing, their own little slice of an empire, and also be connected to the brand and something bigger. That's what excites me. This has allowed me to do that. I was talking about it with Patrick the other day, but it's also just a great creative outlet for me because I have a lot of ideas, and I like, bro, for those of you who don't actually know me, like you think that like I plug off and F off somewhere. Like I don't, bro. I am talking about work like all day. How I can do this to make it better so that they have a better experience, so that how can I charge more to provide more? How can I provide more for my guys? How can I provide more to our partners? What can I build to make everything easier and better? And that's going to lead me into the next thing. But guys who know me, like Danny Garcia, like Ruben from Surface Pro, like a couple other guys that I talk to regularly know that I will literally talk shop for 4 or 5 hours straight, and good luck trying to stop me. Like like I love this. Not necessarily the bathtub stuff. I love the business ownership, entrepreneurial. Like it's like the most fun fucking game in the world. If you if you're like me, if you're built this way and you just love that shit. And like to me, that is what's super, super fun about all this. This is why I like, so me getting to now focus on that, right? Not having to hear about the problem of the day, a truck broke down or something dumb that happens on the field, right? Because I could focus on this, it's just been great for me, like mentally. Like I just am having a blast. And I love helping people, dude. I really do. Like I started this podcast and I talked about it before, but I started this podcast for that. And I met a lot of great people, and a lot of people turned on me when they felt like I was selling them something. And part of it is the way that I packaged it, and I own that 100%. Like the way I was speaking about it, it was like, um, it didn't intend to be this way, but it was a little bit like maybe too like assertive, too like join me or die kind of a thing, and it didn't really need to be that way. And the time and place I was, I guess, like I wasn't really thinking of it that way. Um, but also, I think I had my target audience wrong. I don't think this is a system that's built for the refinisher who's already crushing it in their own refinishing business. I think this is for, like I said, somebody who's starting out who just wants a better opportunity, or someone who's come from another business background who just wants another opportunity. So, but the me like always constantly moving to see how I can help and how I can progress the business goes on and segues into my next little topic, and it's the Bathtub Guys portal that we built. For those of you guys who don't know, like when you build a service business, especially to like when you start to get up there with technicians to my size, Danny Garcia size, and you start having guys regularly, um, you need systems in place. You need systems in place from the beginning, but you really, really, really need one when you have people, because you need organization. And that's the easiest way to get organized, is to have a piece of software that does half the work for you. And so we've been using Jobber for the last 3.5, 4 years. Jonathan actually introduced it to me, Jonathan from PFG. So, um, but um, I started using it. I really, really like the system and the layout and the software and everything. But when I started using Jobber for the Grow plan, it was $150 a month. And that same plan with, I would argue, minimal changes. Like it's cool to add a new feature. It doesn't justify, I think, tripling the price. And Jobber has done that. So now the Grow plan is like $350 a month, which I can afford to pay it. But quick maths, I multiplied what I pay for Jobber times 12. And in a year, I'm spending a lot more money than I probably want to. Um, but I'm cool with that. It's a cost of doing business, whatever, whatever. But I am in a different position than the people who are starting. And so when this idea of partnering and all this other stuff started coming up, right? When the idea even spawned, me, Patrick, the original idea, me, Patrick, Danny, everyone who was involved in the beginning, which is right now, it's pretty much just me and Patrick. But um, when that idea sparked, custom software was something that was mentioned from the jump. And we have been working on it this entire time. I posted a little video about it on YouTube. I posted some on Instagram too, just kind of demoing what it looks like so far. But it is now complete. And for about what 2 years of Jobber cost me, I built something that is my own with the help of my awesome brother-in-law Tim, who is really about that stuff. And he helped me build it. And I am so freaking excited about that. That is a huge deal for me, but it's a huge deal for the partners, because we can roll out updates and new features without having to like screw people. I was about to use a word that's very expletive, and I don't think it fits the context of business, but like without having to like screw people like monetarily. Um, Not to say we won't ever charge for it, right? But like eventually, like I guess what I'm getting at is like, I don't want to have to keep using a platform that is not my own, that every little tiny feature they try to justify in a gigantic price hike. But this software is amazing. It does everything from uh, quoting, scheduling, invoicing. There's customer database. There's lead management with an actual pipeline system, which is fucking awesome. I was using an entire other subscription for that, which was $100 a month. So in subscriptions total, I think I was paying like $500 between that and another little one that I needed to do document signing, which this also has built in. So it's like everything in one place. It's built from the ground up for what we need. And this dude, Tim, is just like, he's like me in that when he finds something that is like, I guess, creatively fulfilling, uh, he just goes at it like 100 miles an hour, super hard, like I do, like Patrick does too. Like I just when I get in locked in on something, I really want to make it the best that it can be. And he built an entire technician companion app that's going to be it's not going to be on the forward facing app store because Apple doesn't let you, but like there's going to be a link where they can download it from the Apple App Store and Google Play for for bathtub guys, built for bathtub guys. Uh, that is fucking awesome. Super, super dope. I could not be happier about that. That way for the technicians, they have their own platform to see their jobs, submit before and after pictures. Any job notes get sent straight to the partners themselves. So if you have a tech in South Carolina and he puts a note in there that the drain has rust on it, like you get a note right away. There is like certain things, certain packages that aren't all inclusive that we sell. So some of them have like upsells for like non-slip or repairs. And when someone has that job selected, it lets the technician add them to the job, add a picture to support like the claim that it's going to cost more money. Just all the things. And then also like just right away can get authorization from the customer. It just streamlines the operation so much. On the technician app, also, the moment they get assigned a job, they get a notification that it's on there. Um, they could do everything. And when they complete the visit, it automatically invoices the client. We also hold a payment method on file. So if the client doesn't pay right away, we could just charge them, which we put in our agreements anyway. Super freaking awesome. Super excited about that. That is a big deal. It's going to be a game changer for our locations. Um, it's just awesome. Payouts and everything is handled. It's just all internal and it's all super great. And it's honestly, I think the thing I'm excited for the most with this big leap into the future for Bathtub Guys is, and I'm looking down on my phone because I'm going to try to show you guys. So this is just a little home screen. See if it loads or if it focuses in. So there's the partner portal. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and give it my credentials to log into our partner site. Now, keep in mind, we haven't fully integrated it yet. Okay, so it says we made $7. I was testing everything out, making sure it was working. But when you log into the partner portal, this is what you get. Let's focus. For those of you, I'm showing them the partner screen. So it shows you, it's kind of like Jobber setup, right? It has like the welcome back. It says revenue stuff. You can do your invoice management through here, and it tells you, your invoice information. So like, test stuff. And I don't want to have to edit this stuff a ton, so I'm not going to put like a screen grab, but I'm just showing you more or less. Those are some test ones that I made. Quoting, scheduling, invoicing, lead management, super cool. Every single thing that a motherfucker could want is in here. And that's what I am excited about for me before the location so that we can have cohesiveness for those who want to use the platform. It's just going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. And it's built with Bathtub Guys sales system in mind, the way that we sell, the way that we provide service. So it's very tailor-made to us. Super excited about that. Will it come to other people in the future? Maybe. There has been early talks to potentially white label a similar version of this system because when it comes to field management software, as you guys know, they kind of have a corner on the market. There's House Call Pro, there's Jobber, there's Joist, there's a couple of them, but a lot of them have some features and not others. Some of them have features, but then like you have to pay extra to get that feature. Some of them like only include licenses for up to 5 people. And then after that, you have to buy additional seats for everybody. It's very expensive, very fast. So it's very possible that that's coming down the line soon. No official announcement of it, but it has been talked about. Me and Tim have talked about it. I think it's going to be something where there's potential for that software to become its own animal and its own business eventually. But we will get there when we get there. In the beginning, it is going to be Bathtub Guys only. And the actual Bathtub Guys partner portal is going to be very, very specific. It's still always going to be kind of exclusive because we're going to have tools in there that really only make sense for us. But it's a hell of a CRM service. So it's our own CRM, customer relationship management system. I'm just over the fucking moon about it. I'm so happy. And the cool thing is, man, having somebody like my brother-in-law, Tim, who he probably doesn't watch or listen to these. I'm not even going to tell him to because like, it's not just being freaking glazing Tim, right? But the thing I like about him is that if I tell him, hey, is this feature possible? He will be like, yes. And he'll just like, whatever he has time, because he really likes this type of stuff, he will just go and build it and make it either exactly what I want or so much better than what I even thought was possible. And so like, it's just been awesome working with him. And it's something that is going to grow into a bigger role for him too, long-term. Once there's 50, 60 locations all using software, you need an IT person to be handling this stuff, but it's all hosted by us. Like we have our own server. Everything is like super, super legit. It's not like some repurposed software that already exists. It was built for the ground, like from the ground up for us. So I'm super excited about that. As you can see, I'm very enthused. I know I'm like getting hyped, but it's like, that is like the biggest deal for me. And yeah, man. So that's what's new with Bathtub Guys. I'm like 36 minutes in. There's not a lot much more to talk about. I mean, we're growing. We keep adding locations. We have 2 more coming like really soon for Texas that we're announcing soon. And like, I'm super excited because we're going to have a single partner like who has opened 5 businesses in less than a full year. That's about to happen like in the next month. Shout out to Julian, who's crushing it. Right now, he has Jacksonville, San Antonio, and Austin, and he's about to open 2 more in Texas because it's just going freaking bananas over there. And then on top of that, our other partners have been fantastic to work with. Atlanta guys are crushing it. If you want to be a part of this thing, man, you don't need to wait. You can reach out to me. My phone number is 689-271-9934. Or you can email your inquiry to service@bathtubguys.com. You can hit us up on Instagram or whatever just to get communication started. But this is a huge deal. And something that I was talking about with a gentleman the other day who reached out. There was a gentleman that reached out to me, really cool guy named Matt. And I talked to him on and off a little bit. And he reached out after he saw the last video of the Atlanta guys, I believe, like launching Atlanta. And he reached out and was like, hey man, how can I get part of this? And I told him what to do. And then recently he hit us back again after I made one of the videos about, who management is not for, but at the end I kind of threw in there who it is for. And he was like, man, I'm really interested in the Columbia, South Carolina area. And it broke my heart to have to tell him, like, somebody already took it, man. He reached out first, but he never took action. And if you want to do this and you don't take action, just know you are one day away from somebody else just taking it. I have 3 people right now who are interested in Portland, Oregon. And I know there's other people watching this who are probably in the Oregon area, who are probably in the other parts of Massachusetts, who are probably in New York, who are probably in Tennessee and Virginia, whatever. Like if you are interested, reach out because the opportunity will go. You don't want to end up like that guy where now he has to debate, do I even want to do this do I want to do something with Bathtub Guys somewhere else, or do I just want to completely move on because I lost the opportunity? It sucks because it really seemed like this time he was ready when he asked a question. He kind of had things planned out, but I can't sit around and wait for people to make a decision. The person who commits now is the person who's going to get first dibs, right? So they committed, and so they got the location. And so we are adding places. We still have a ton of availabilities. If you want to know what availability we have, you can always go to BathTubGuys.com, scroll down on all areas, and see where we have an office. If we don't have an office there in your area, then I would say the major metropolitan that you're looking at, odds are there's probably some availability in your area. And we do want to focus in the beginning, but we will dabble with pretty much anywhere. We do want to focus, and where we're actively looking is to focus on the East Coast side of the United States, but we are accepting from all over. It's just in the beginning, like if you are in the East Coast, I'm just letting you know the reason we're focusing on that is because it is hot. Like we are, like almost every location is in this part of the country, and it's continuing to get hotter and hotter. We keep getting more and more leads for those places, and we're closing and adding locations in those places. So if that's what you're interested in, get on it now. We also have interest from California. Just keep in mind, if you're in California, you need to get your, I don't know what's called D22 or whatever the contractor license is. Just the basic competency one, not the super general contractor one, but you need to get it to be able to do this because, well, you don't need it in the beginning, but you do need it if you really want to make a business out of it, because you can't charge more than like $1,000 or $1,500 for a job or something like that if you don't have that license. In California specifically, I don't know how it works, varies by state, but I know California is pretty strict on the tub releasing stuff. But we have had interest from all over. And if you want to be a part of this, if you want to change your life for the better, join Bathtub Guys licensing. It's going to be a freaking like crazy situation, crazy opportunity for you guys to grow. And if you're interested, if you work for a refinishing company and you are tired of working for like $30 an hour or less or whatever, getting a percentage, and you want like to take a real stab at entrepreneurship, this might be the program for you. I think that we are providing a whole lot to help people level up in their life and give them a better opportunity for themselves, for their children, to just like, have a better shot at like the bigger picture, at a bigger dream. And maybe have something nice to give your kids when you retire or sell or whatever you want to do with it. But the main point of all this is it's just an opportunity to better your life. And if that's something that interests you, do reach out. Again, the phone number is 689-271-9934. My name is Daniel with Bathtub Guys Refinishing. And you can reach out to me directly. But I'm going to leave you guys there. I appreciate you guys watching and listening like always. Talk to you guys very soon. Love you very much. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Bathtub Refinishing Podcast. If you liked what you heard, be sure to keep up with the Bathtub Guys on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, or visit BathTubGuys.com for more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.